If you're a Commodore fan, you probably know that Commodore got their start in 1958 in typewriters, then they moved on to adding machines, electronic calculators, and eventually into the computer market. We all know the Commodore 64, of course. Well, you might not know that there were a bunch of other products along the way too. They did metal office furniture like filing cabinets with the beautiful Commodore logo on them, digital watches, both LED and LCD, and if you've been watching the series of videos I've been doing prior to this one, Was It Jack Trammell's Commodore? I showed you Commodore radios and a Commodore programmable electronic thermostat too. In this video, I'm going to talk about one that you probably have never heard of, even if you're a Commodore super fan. Commodore's 1964 foray into the personal mobility market with a stair-climbing wheelchair. Let's talk about that. To understand how Commodore became associated with a stair-climbing wheelchair, we need to go back to a time before Commodore even existed, in 1947, when Harry S. Truman, President of the United States, informally began what became the President's Committee on Employment of the Physically Handicapped. It was initially funded by the Bureau of Employment Security, and it received formal U.S. congressional authorization in 1949. In January 1960, the President's Committee on Employment of the Physically Handicapped announced they were offering $5,000 to any inventor, foreign or domestic, who could design a wheelchair that could climb stairs. The goal was to make it easier for companies to hire people who were confined to wheelchairs. By December 1961, however, despite receiving 500 entries, nobody had claimed the $5,000, so the offer was extended. Finally, in 1964, Neville E. Hale and Kenneth Gardner of Hale Associates Limited in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, won the $5,000 for their tracked wheelchair design. So what does this have to do with Commodore? Well, there was a small metal stamping company in Scarborough, Ontario, Canada named Belpre Company Limited. They were located at 4 Mansion Avenue, which is now an auto mechanics shop. Belpre's president was a man by the name of Walter Kuttner, and he took an interest in the Hale and Gardner wheelchair design. Commodore's 1964 annual report to shareholders tells us that Commodore acquired 3 companies in 1964. One was Associated Tool and Manufacturing, another was Belpre Company Limited. Commodore was already in the business of selling metal office furniture like filing cabinets, but they were originally doing so in an OEM deal with another company doing the manufacturing. In 1964, they built a 30,000 square foot addition onto their Canadian headquarters at 946 Warden Avenue in Scarborough, Ontario, and moved the newly acquired Belpre there to begin manufacturing metal office furniture in-house. Walter Kuttner, the president of Belpre, was retained to continue managing Commodore's metal division, and with his interest in the Hale and Gardner wheelchair design, Commodore's new subsidiaries, Associated Tool and Manufacturing and Belpre Company Limited, built the prototype wheelchair at a cost of $40,000, which, adjusted for inflation, would be over $400,000 in 2024. So what became of this wheelchair? As far as I can tell, nothing. There's no evidence Commodore ever attempted to take it to market. Neville Hale and Kenneth Gardner secured a U.S. patent for their wheelchair design in 1966. Commodore's name is not mentioned anywhere in the patent documents, so they seem to have parted ways with Hale and Gardner. There's also no evidence that Hale and Gardner ever took their wheelchair to market. I found several other news stories about stair-climbing wheelchairs over the years, but none of them were the Hale and Gardner design. Hale & Associates was renamed to Fathom Oceanology, and Hale & Gardner scored lucrative government contracts with their newly renamed company.